Happy Cinco de Mayo, and guess what? It's also Taco Tuesday, which means we're going to have a Taco Tech Tip Tuesday, and it's not going to be about food, but since it's Cinco de Mayo, we're going to be making a whole lot of tacos today. So the first thing we've got is this gourmet pork sausage. It is basically a Mexican sausage, and we're going to make some breakfast tacos.
So you have a shiny new STI, you have all these sweet parts on it, and you have a motor failure. And you think, well, you know, I had a lot of parts on the car, it was making a pretty dang good amount of horsepower, so I could expect the engine to fail. Well, the interesting thing is, a lot of people just like to attribute an engine failure to it was making too much power. But the reality of the situation is, for the most part, making too much power is rarely what breaks one of these engines, especially in the newer STIs. Everyone's like, oh, a ringland failure, it's just going to happen. And there is some truth to that, but at low miles, typically, if there's a failure, even at 400 horsepower, 430 horsepower to the wheels, usually failures are attributed to something else.
Eggies in a bowl, get those whisked up. If you want flavor, the more cream the better. But if you want it to be healthier, you can go with, you know, whole milk or even skim milk or whatever you want. Just a little bit in there. Oh yeah, so good. Alright, just a little bit of oil in the pan. This is that mister thing. Just basically spreads it out. Now this is going to be really cool. This is going to happen fast. So I got my egg mixture here. Let's get that out of there. We're not going to need the whisk. Just going to take this guy, dump it in here, and then this is a tech tip, pro tip. Take some chopsticks and just immediately get in there with them. And then we're going to turn off the heat, or turn it way down low. If you've never made scrambled eggs with chopsticks, you've never made scrambled eggs the right way. This is how you don't overcook your scrambled eggs. And then we're going to take a little bit of this Mexican cheese and get that in there. And get that scrambled in there with it. Little fusion here. You know, I got chopsticks cooking Mexican food, but eggs are eggs. So and those are done. Look at that. Done, but not overdone. Get that off the heat. Our sausage is looking done. Oh yeah. That is gonna make some pretty epic tacos.
So this car has a Blausch Dominator 2.5 XT, full front mount intercooler kit, nice big intake, full turboback exhaust. It's got a Cobb ID 1050X fuel system. It's got the works basically when it comes to what you need to support this kind of horsepower. And in the fuel tank is one of the notorious 300C fuel pumps. It's a compact 300 liter per hour pump. I don't care who manufactures it, whether it's Cobb, whether it's Deechworks, whether it's AEM. These pumps are not very good. Seen so many of these pumps fail, and they don't fail in the way you would expect. So a lot of times the failures can be attributed to poor installation. Inside the fuel pump canister, there's a little spacer at the top of the fuel pump that people often forget, and it causes the O-rings to pop out. And I'll show you guys that in a minute.
A little bit of that. We start with 3 breakfast tacos. Originally my goal today was to eat 36 tacos, but I think since it's the Cinco de Mayo of the year 2020, we're going to do 20 tacos today. That seems a little more reasonable than 36. Alright. Bring this guy over here. Grab a little salsa. Get in there pretty deep. And little bit more of this cheese. There we go. Breakfast tacos. The first of probably 20 or so. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
But first I want to show you on the dyno, we've got this thing, has a new motor in it, fresh new engine, nice shiny new motor. We're making some horsepower. It's no slouch at 18 pounds. Oops, let me get this off here. But what I see is, let me switch over here to air fuel ratio, and ho ho ho, what's happening here? The AFR starts to go crazy. It starts to lean out like mad. Oops, I'm all out of focus. But lifted obviously got out of it. But after 5,600 RPMs, where the air fuel is a nice mid-11, it just starts to lean. And then, of course, as it starts to lean, it starts to pull timing out. It's a tough motor. It can handle the hit like that. Got out of it before it had a chance to really do anything. But that's a pretty good amount of power. But it doesn't matter how much power you're making if you don't have enough fuel, because the fuel pressure is dropping. Then you're not going to have really an engine for very long at all. So I'm going to pull this pump out, take a look at it, and show you guys that it's actually installed correctly. Fuel pressure is dropping significantly. I have the fuel pressure monitor in here, and we go from a full 43 pound base, so we're monitoring the differential fuel pressure, so 43 pounds essentially, and it drops down to 21 at that 5,700 RPM. So the differential in the fuel pressure is only 21 pounds, and that's just not enough fuel pressure to really even get the injectors to fire right. Taco. One final extra special taco. It's Cinco de Mayo, even the puppers get a taco. Oh yeah, get that taco. Nom 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 nom. Taco dog has a taco. 2 more for a total of 5 on the morning. So I got the fuel canister out of this thing, and the pump was installed correctly, but if you can see all that, that's all metal shavings, which happens when the rotors on these pumps crash together. And that's what we see on these 300 pumps, especially if they get ran low on gas ever, is that the rotors basically just crash together and it causes them to fail. So they'll make good pressure right up until a certain point, and then they just stall out. And that's what's going on. Look at all that. Yeah. So the moral of the story is, don't run your 300 liter per hour compact STI fuel pump dry, or you're gonna end up having to replace it. And the crazy downside is that you won't know that you're running low on pressure unless you have the fuel pressure differential monitoring kit installed in the car, and you can monitor that pressure differential and watch it drop. Lunch tacos. Taco, 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 taco. Yeah. Gonna hit that 20. Tacos and burritos. There they are, taco 6, 7, 8, sorry, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Up to 10. So I got through 4 more of these, so that was 9 total for lunch. Holy crap. So we're up to 14 for the day. Only need to do 6 for dinner, and we're at 20. Yeah. So you can see what we have here is a data log of this differential fuel pressure, and we can see this car, actually this is a different car, but when you're wide open throttle, the differential fuel pressure is going to be a pretty stable number, and you can see it's pretty darn stable the entire time we're wide open throttle from here to here. Before we're wide open throttle, however, the pressure, oops, that freaked out the graph. Unzoom. Before we're wide open throttle, you can see that the pressure is actually really high, and this is from a lack of return flow. Pump's too big basically for the fuel pressure regulator that's on the car. But if you were to see this number here, this pressure differential number, this is the 42.78, which is the base pressure this car set at. If you were to see that pressure start to drop, that's when you know that you have a fuel pressure issue. So if you monitor that on your access port and you see numbers in this that are 30, 34, 32, 28, then you know that things are probably about to lean out. With this pressure differential, it's kind of cool. If it does see that the pressure is dropping, it's going to try to compensate by increasing the fuel injector scale. So it's basically going to hold the injectors open longer, and it's going to try to get the fuel into the car. So it's a really awesome safety. If you don't have it, it can save you a motor, you know, $6,000 plus for just a, you know, pretty basic engine build anymore on these Subarus. So having the fuel pressure differential monitoring kit from Cobb is, in my opinion, on anybody's built motor, it is mandatory. So that's all I have for Tech Tip today. You know, fuel pressure is a really big deal on these cars, and like I said, it's probably the #1 thing that I actually see kill these new engines on these new, especially VA STIs, is that people don't know that they're dropping fuel pressure because they put a big pump in, and hey, you put it in there, it should be working. If you don't know that it's working, then you don't know that it's working. So if you're not actually monitoring air-fuel ratio with a wideband AF gauge, not the access port gauge, the Subarus don't have a very accurate air-fuel ratio sensor on them, at least not the WRXs and STIs before 2015. Even the STIs after 2015, it's not very accurate. In fact, let me show you that here. The air-fuel ratio, it just thinks it's 11.14, and that's all it thinks that it is. Look at that, the entire way. I guarantee you it's not quite that flat. It's probably pretty close, but that's not what it actually is. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that fuel pressure differential is really important to be able to monitor. Thanks for watching. Got the shrimps on the grill, got the tortillas on there and the tomatillos. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Dinner tacos. Look at that, it's a salad and a half of a coconut shell. Look at that. That's the coolest thing ever. The taco spread is complete. Got shrimp, peppers, avocados, more of this fire roasted tomatillo salsa that's absolutely delicious, and this crazy coconut mango delicious slaw and salad thing. But look at those. I just need to eat 6 of these, but I'm probably more than likely going to eat more than 6. We'll go over our 20 a little bit. Got the beer. Anyway, have a happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone, and a happy Taco Tuesday, and a happy Tech Tip. And I hope you learned something with the fuel pressure compensation and monitoring and how important it is. So, salud.